Hi, everybody. In this video, I want to expand upon some print features that we can use in our workbooks. So a couple of things I'm going to show you is, first of all, how to figure out where your page breaks are. And we've seen this a little bit, but again, we're going to go a little bit deeper in this video here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go to your page break view, first of all. So I'm going to go in, I'm in my document here. So here's the home feature. I'm just going to click on cell A1. And then I can go to my page layout, and I can also go to view. But view is where you want to start. So in view, I can select it to be at page break view. And then I can actually see where my page breaks are in the document, which can be really helpful. And we see it by this dotted line here. You actually can change your zoom as well. So if we zoom really far out, we'll be able to see, so I'm going to do 25%, see like the entire document here. So you can see all the different pages that there would be when we print. So those are listed here. And again, you can always zoom back in if that is too far, so you can see what your document is going to look like. You can also edit this as well. So you can take your page breaks. If I have the dotted line here, I actually can manually move it and show you and change where those page breaks are within my document. So that is a helpful tip there as well. If I go to page layout, I can also insert page breaks. So if I want to put a page break perhaps here, like at the bottom of this document right here, I want to stop it to go from here and then below, I could actually do an insert page break there. So that page break will come in. And I can also remove that page break if I don't want that there. I can reset all the page breaks. So go back to what the original document had before I started making changes, making, those manual changes to the page breaks or things like that. So that's just a couple things that you can do, again, to help make your document print a little bit nicer, is think about where your page breaks are. I really don't want this to be cut off. So perhaps I need to change my page break and move that over a bit. But don't forget the rest of your document as well, right? We want to make sure it looks good overall. So it's a little bit of playing around there to get that to fit as well. You could also highlight and only print certain parts of the document if you wanted to. So let's say I want to print this part of the document here, and then I'm going to hit Control, and then I'm going to select another part of the document. I don't know, maybe I just want to print this information for whatever reason. So I can go ahead and highlight that. And then when I'm in my page layout tab here, I can select the print area feature and set that print area feature so that it's going to print just the parts that are highlighted here. So this is what page 1 would look like in page 2. So you could also print just certain parts of your document. And I'm going to clear that now because I'm just showing you a little demonstration here. So you can play with your page breaks, you can insert them, you can delete them, you can revert them back to the original. You can select just certain parts of your table or your sheet to print as well. You can also zoom the scaling. So as you can do that right here too. But if you go to File and then Print and go down at the very bottom here, you'll see Page Setup. You can play around with that in there as well. So like we've mentioned before, you can change the scaling. So you may want to, zoom out or zoom in to help the pages fit better as they print. You can change to landscape view versus portrait view as well here. You can change your margins. So if you need to adjust your margins to let your printout, again, be visually more appealing, you can go ahead and change your margins here as well as your headers and footers. Some interesting things you can do as well. So you can add print titles, headers, and footers. So one thing that's really nice, particularly here, is you may want to go ahead and set it up. Let me X out of this for a second. Where maybe when you're printing a lot of pages, you may want to have a header on each page or a footer that prints, or maybe you want to actually have part of your document that repeats over and over again. So maybe you'd like to have, the first 2 rows repeat so that each printout has the same Bristol Bay and then your value store underneath it printed out as well. So we can go ahead and do that stuff. And you can do that by going here to page layout and clicking print titles. And print titles will automatically open to sheet. And I kind of was just playing around here earlier, but I tend to like the rows to repeat up top feature. So you can select which rows you want to repeat at the top of every single printout. So again, you're kind of not losing that heading on the top of your worksheet. So I can say, okay, every printout, I want these 2 rows to print. And if I preview that, see if we can show this. You can see that there. So it's printed right there. And then on the next page, you had those same 2 rows printed again. Now, one of my rows has a little bit of formatting. So it may look a little bit weird there, but you can go through and have that repeated here as well. So that's under print titles, and you can edit that sheet here. You can change the print area. You can do columns to repeat. You can make grid lines if you want those grid lines shown, and so on. So you have those pieces there that you can edit. And again, you can go through your text as well to go into this in more detail and play around. You can also do headers and footers. So for instance, if I want to do a header, couple of things here is you can select to have the first page be different. So if you want a different header on your first page and then something maybe simpler on your remaining pages, you can do that. So I could click different first page, and then I would click custom header, and I can go ahead and tweak that. So maybe I want my header, I don't know, to always say Bristol Bay. And this is for my general header on every single page. Maybe it's going to say that on the left, and maybe on, I don't know, on the right, I want it to have nothing. We'll just don't say anything. And then maybe on the first page, so I kind of already started doing this here. I was playing around with it. Maybe I want the first page to be different. So maybe on the first page, I want to write file. And then what you can do is instead of writing the name of the file yourself, you could hit the Excel icon here, and it will actually input how the file is saved on your computer. So that may be more helpful. So you can go ahead and kind of tweak that there if you want to. You could also have the date. So if I click on the right side, I could have the date inserted there. And you can see I could have the date right here. So my first page is going to look like that. Maybe my header on my remaining pages just says Bristol Bay, and I can click OK. I can also do footers. So if I click custom footer, I can go ahead and do that. And you can see I was kind of playing around in here already. So maybe you want to label the pages. So I could write the word page. And then this one here gives you the page number. So if I just want to have a page number on each of my sheets, that can go in. If I want to be more specific, maybe I want to say page 1 of 10, I can write space, hit the word of, and then the second one here will give me all the pages in the document. And again, I could also do a custom first page. Maybe I would like to have my name on the first page at the bottom, but then and again, in a second, I can just say page number 1 of however many or something like that. So I can go ahead and play around with these and go into that print preview. And you should be able to see right up top here, there is that header, that file number, and that date. You can see I have footers on the bottom here. And they do continue, but they do change, right? So they did change a little bit as I go through page by page here as we're going along. So just some ways that you can go ahead and play with those documents and just kind of try some features out. Particularly, I think those headers and footers are really nice if you're going to be printing a lot of documents, a lot of pages there, so people can keep track. And of course, mine isn't very nicely formatted just yet, but playing around with those page breaks as well to make sure that you have a document that not only reads nicely on the screen, but prints, because a lot of people like to print things still. So you want to make sure that it does print out very nicely as well.